What's up, idiots? It's me once again, Sir Melvis from the third realm of Thurgood, and I'm here to cast a spell as I tell you who was successful in their missions, who rolled the dice and came up winners, who was able to vanquish their foes. And we started with the champion of the Game Changer realm, as Captain Mexico took on David Smith and Jackson Aries of the Blueprints clan in an open challenge initiated by the Booker Supreme. And he was vanquished by David Smith of the lands up north. Now, David Smith decided to try his hand against the Emperor of the Land of Mystery, the Anomalium. And he was not able to use his powers from up north to freeze the victory from the Emperor. And the Emperor was able to walk away with said title in his hand. Now, the Emperor decided to try his hand against death. And he weaved his wand of magic. And he decided to use the coin of 0 fucks. And we flipped it. And he came out okay. Still, Game Changer champion. Now, in our next match, it was supposed to be Alex Garcia versus Shark Boy. And not the one from Atlantis, the other one from Jersey. But Shark Boy and Lady Assassin took the seeds from the land of Stachio. And we rolled the dice. And they worked. And they were able to evade their opponents and go in catering and feast upon the mutton and whatever trash they had over there in catering. So Alex Garcia and Crusher LB were vanquished to the announcer's table and provided commentary. In our first match, we had the Emperor of the Land of Mystery, the Anomalium, taking on the God of Girth, Fat Thomas. Put that somewhere. And he was able to pick up a win over Fat Thomas, who seems to be on a awfully strange losing streak lately. Although his opponent didn't even show up last week and he was able to win. But a weird loss today, as Pat Thomas seemed to be distracted by the pizza guy, allowing the Emperor to take advantage and subdue him and hold him down for the 1, 2, 3 count. And leave still Game Changer champion and with a victory on his record. Now, the next match saw the Super Champion King taking on the higher power, the champion of WPA land, Johnny Rocco. And it was no easy task, as the Super Champion King did everything in his power to defeat Johnny Rocco. But in the end, Johnny Rocco was too much. And he left the Super Champion King with a headache as he hit a Charm City driver. It then went down the set in Misfit Row, title in hand. And poor Super Champion King in tears. Now our next match was the Dorkstalker taking on the Brass Hole. Not that interesting of a match, but Dorkstalker got a win. He's still a dork. But he hit the Black Void on Brass Hole, allowing him to pick up the win, but not avoiding being called Sir Dorcas of Wally World. Now, our next match saw Money, one half of the Tag Team Champion Limited Edition, taking on Shepherd Bane, and it was a very tightly contested match, but Money was able to hit his finisher. Well, hit a finisher, I guess. We're going to call it the Money Clip. He defeated Shepherd Bane. Now, Luscious Lucius was in action next. And me personally, I think all he would have to do was sit on somebody. But he put an STF on Casper 2779 and won via submission. And I'm going to tell you right now, you can say what you want about Luscious Lucius. That guy has been on fire. I mean, he's been winning matches. Pretty soon, I mean, he's getting so good, you might find him rising up the ranks. You know, if I was a champion, I'd be kind of worried because he's on a hot streak. And eventually, when you get on a hot streak, you start asking for things. Well, he asks for things, but he's on a losing streak too. So, but he's asking now. He's almost earning things. So, watch it. Because he may cast a spell on Admin and get a title match in his hand. Now, Jackson Aries of Atlanta Blueprint was taking on the Polish Power, and there's not an amount of magic in this wand that can help him pick up a win. I mean, goodness Christ, dude. Guy lost the Polish Power. Now, that's not saying no mark against Polish Power. Polish Power is pretty good, actually. I mean, he's a former trios champion. But Blueprint, I mean, gee whiz, man. Lost in a title match. He lost this week. I mean, it's like you were losing when you left, and you're losing now when you come back. I mean, gee whiz. You need to get it together, bro. I don't think there's enough nuts of the pistachio that can help you pick up a win. Now, Martel the Carpenter took on the Street Fight King, and it was a very close match. We had to roll a dice, and Martel rolled a 20 and was able to overcome his opponent, the Street Fight King. Very good match, too, by the way. Now, South Bronx Savage finally showed up to his match, and he was taking on the First Lady, Alexa Leslie, who seemed to keep being distracted a little bit because Johnny Rocco was sitting down there shining up his belt like he was teasing her. She looked kind of hot and bothered by it, though. But she was able to collect herself enough to hit the Rose Garden on South Bronx Savage and make him submit to her wiles. After she got up, she pointed at Johnny Rocco, started talking trash. And it's kind of weird because those two have a lot of respect for each other, but these two have very rarely, I don't think they've ever faced each other for a title. Number 1 contender match, yes. Title, no. He stands in her with history. But if you watch history, and sometimes history does repeat itself, the last time Johnny Rocco won world title, his first opponent was Lady Assassin. She has the name Lady. First Lady has Lady in her name. He defeated Lady Assassin. Ergo, he'll probably defeat First Lady. Now, the only thing to be different about this time is the names and who his second opponent may be. I'm pretty sure it won't be Big Mel. I mean, then again, you never know. But our next match saw Big Mel, speaking of which, taking on Like an Umbrus, which is a very weird rivalry here. It's Like an Umbrus usually can take out most of the Killer Goons, but he can't seem to hit that Big Mel, turn that corner. And once again, Big Mel defeated Like an Umbrus. Now, Jermaine Walker was taking on Draven the Sledgehammer, and he cast a spell of iniquity over him and hit the black hand side on him to pick up the win in what was a very tight match. Tighter than anybody suspected. It was tighter than most of those little young guys in skinny jeans. They're never going to have kids. I know their balls must be shriveled up by now. Now, our last singles match was Captain Mexico taking on the lunatic Aqua Regia, who's been hot. I don't mean by looks. I mean in her matches. And she dominated and hit that Tiger Driver 91 to pick up the win over Captain Mexico. So, tonight's winners was the lunatic Aqua Regia, Big Mel, the First Lady Alexa Leslie, Jermaine Walker, Martel the Carpenter, Polish Power, Luscious Lucius Money, the Dork Stalker, Johnny Rocco, and the Emperor, 2K Anomaly. All won their matches before we got to the number 1 contender matches. And we only had 2 tonight. We had the first one for the number 1 contender to determine who would go to face the Triple Threat Champion. And match 1 saw Kwani Fist versus Hakeo. Jason Shepard versus Red Death. And Hakeo was able to defeat his opponents by pinning Red Death. Nope, didn't turn it into alcohol. Now, in our second match, it was Money MF and Mike versus the Master Sean Puff, who can't seem to pay attention enough to get a game changer match, but will cry about not getting a game changer match. We've had like 2-3 open challenges for game changers, and he ain't never around. He comes around after the challengers have already been checked out. Fucking dork. Need to get out of that closet. But he did defeat his opponents as he took on, like I said, the idol Steve Sampson and Money MF and Mike. And the Master pinned Money MF and Mike to pick up the win and move on to a triple threat title match. Now, in our next match, it was number one contender match for the television championship, and we had Cats and Corey versus Donnie Boy. And Donnie Boy must have took one of those nuts of the pistachio and tried to disappear, but Cats and Corey cast a spell over the referee and made him ring the bell and start the 10 count. Donnie Boy was nowhere to be found or answered the call. Thus, Cats and Corey was awarded the win via countout. Now, in our triple threat championship match, as we journeyed to the land of the champions, it was the Kingpin, JP DiMaggio, taking on Nergahante and James Poofy Head Outrez. And once again, James Outrez came up short as the Kingpin found another way to weave his magic and pick up a win. When he pulled James Outrez out the ring and had Fat Tits Tommy hold him while he pinned Nergahante. It's a triple threat match. What you gonna do? So, now, JP DiMaggio has 1 victory, 2 victories, 3 successful title defenses. If he can get number 4, he will move on and go for Intercontinental Championship. Now, in saying that, pay attention, folks. This is going to be very key. If JP DiMaggio wins next week, he will go on the Mega Week Intercontinental Championship match. But next week we will also have a number one contender match for the Intercontinental title. Just in case he don't win that way, bases covered there, buddy. But if JP wins, the person that wins next week will still get an Intercontinental Championship match. It just will be at a later time. You'll just be number one contender. Hell, they may even let you call it. They may even let you do it like they did Jay LeMasters and do it the next week. Not a problem. Patience is a virtue. As a matter of fact, I cast a spell of patience over the person that gets the number one contender shot. Things on the blitz. Now, in our television championship match, it was David Smith versus my hero, Bobby Blaze. And I'm sad, folks. Bobby Blaze didn't win. I mean, I really was rooting for him, too. I mean, look, listen to the name. Just think about it. Your television champion, Bobby Blaze. That sounds exciting. Way more exciting than your television champion, David Smith. Well, thank you. Whatever. But David Smith was able to defeat Bobby Blaze and is still the champion. God damn it. Not fair. And our United States Championship, it was the Messiah taking on the badass Eddie Vendetti. And Eddie Vendetti must have had someone cast a spell of success over him as he defeated the Messiah to become your new United States champion. Kudos to you, buddy. Now, in our last match, which we are deeming match of the night, we had Mac Blakely taking on the sponsored athlete Jay LeMasters, and they weaved a magical tale of violence and physicality that got the crowd on their feet. And in the end, Mac Blakely was able to garner one last trick and defeat the sponsored athlete, Jalen Masters. So, I don't want to hear your mouth no more about matches. Because you can't, you get there and you lose. I mean, Johnathan keeps saying this guy's like one of the toughest ones to beat 101, but I see him get into a championship match. Now, and then one time he does win the championship, he drops it so he can go fight for another in a multi-man match for a championship. Do you? But that's all I got, folks. Stay tuned, as Philip will be here to give you his pick of the week. Until then, hit my music. Hello, WPA. Once again, it is your honor and your privilege to hear my voice come across your screen as I divulge to you my pick of the week. And once again, I was amazed by the matches, as many performers stepped up their game and provided banger matches there. There was the Intercontinental Championship match, which set fire to the arena. There was Jermaine versus Draven the Sledgehammer, another banger of a match. But my pick this week is the Kingpin JP DiMaggio, our triple threat champion, who once again successfully defended his title en route to an Intercontinental Championship match. 3 successful title defenses, folks. It is not easy to overcome. It is not easy to come by. And he is outlasting his opponents and finding a way to win. And you can say whatever you want about Kingpin JP DiMaggio. When he is on, he is on. And right now, he is on fire, folks. He's on the cusp of a 4th successful title defense. next week. And it will not be any easy task as his opponents get harder and more difficult and more advanced. But you're talking about a man who fights. You're talking about a man who has pride in his work. I have no doubt in my mind that he will successfully defend that title a fourth time and become the number one contender to the Intercontinental Championship. I wish him all the luck in his journey to the top. Speaking of which, the man has a little bit of class at that. As he cheers on the First Lady, Alexa Leslie, as she goes in her attempt to set history to become the first ever woman to be the WPA World Champ. And she herself has no easy task herself. But we shall see. But for now, Kingpin, good luck to you. I tip my hat, sir. And to the rest of you, I say good day. I said good day.